The editorial team would like to send greetings and thank you to the valued listeners who have always shown interest in accompanying 24-hour channel. In today's news about the COVID-19 situation, both domestically and internationally, let's update you with the latest unhosted news that has happened in the past 24 hours in the following video. Please stay tuned.
Ladies and gentlemen, according to a reliable source, Beijing is reportedly deploying thousands of armored military vehicles to the Three Gorges Dam to decide on its deliberate destruction before it self-destructs. The latest information we have just received indicates that the first flood peak appeared at the Three Gorges Dam the day before yesterday, causing the water level at the dam to exceed the high alert level. Continuous heavy rainfall in recent days has triggered a red alert for the Yangtze River. The Three Gorges Dam is said to be reaching its limit, and if it does not break on its own, it will cause an extremely catastrophic disaster for the Chinese people. The concrete blocks of the Three Gorges Dam are reportedly heavily cracked and leaking water. If the heavy rain continues for the next few days, the water level in the reservoir will cause the dam to explode like a bomb, submerging millions of Chinese people in a sea of water. According to forecasts, at least 800 million people in 28 southern provinces and cities in China will be submerged in water like doomsday. Cities, skyscrapers, civilian production facilities, and many other things will be swept away into the East China Sea. Within just an hour, the people of China will be submerged in water, a horrifying scene. That is why yesterday, Li Keqiang decided to mobilize thousands of armored vehicles and 50 divisions to the vicinity of the Three Gorges Dam to carry out its deliberate destruction, avoiding the horrific consequences that could occur in the coming days. Millions of people around the Three Gorges Dam have been urgently evacuated to high mountain peaks overnight. Millions of others have sought refuge in the Great Wall of China area. According to the Chinese Communist Party, last night, Typhoon No. 2, internationally known as Muno, unexpectedly made landfall in southern China with a devastating speed and has now advanced to Hainan Island, a strategically important military position for China in the East Sea. As meteorologists predicted, this super typhoon has been quite unpredictable and does not follow any rules. Previously, the Chinese Meteorological Agency also forecasted that the typhoon would weaken before hitting the country. But now, all predictions have been overturned, leaving many international netizens astonished by the audacity of Typhoon No. 2, also known as Monu, as well as the Chinese authorities under Xi Jinping. Good news, over 50 million Chinese people have failed in their attempts to cross the northern border into Vietnam. The Chinese Prime Minister was embarrassed upon hearing the strong speech of the current Vietnamese Prime Minister. Ladies and gentlemen, recently, the Chinese ambassador sent an urgent note to the office of the Vietnamese Prime Minister. The contents of the note clearly state that Vietnam is obliged to accept 23 out of 50 million Chinese people who are waiting at the border. If Vietnam stubbornly refuses to accept the aforementioned number of people, China will take strong retaliatory measures. China also cites Cambodia, a small country, which has already accepted over 16 million Chinese people. Therefore, Vietnam, a country 4 times larger than Cambodia, dares to refuse China's proposal. Yes? Immediately after the note was sent to the Vietnamese Prime Minister, our Prime Minister could not contain his anger, slamming the table and demanding an urgent meeting with the press, firmly rejecting China's baseless claims and daring to give orders to Vietnam. Vietnam, from ancient times to the present, has never known fear, nor has it ever been a slave to any country in the world. Even the United States has to respect Vietnam. It's unbelievable that China still has the audacity to act this way. It's completely out of line. The Prime Minister of Vietnam has declared that every Chinese citizen must understand Vietnamese laws to avoid regrettable consequences. It is forbidden for Chinese citizens to cross the border in any form without the permission of Vietnamese authorities. Furthermore, if there are any signs of opposition or non-compliance with Vietnamese laws, and if they intentionally enter Vietnam, they will be shot down. Chinese citizens are urged to genuinely respect Vietnamese laws. Ladies and gentlemen, the rainstorms, floods, and natural disasters in China have continuously brought devastation upon them. Yesterday, the country's news agency reported that a heavy rain and flood continued to ravage the capital city of Beijing, causing the home of President Xi Jinping's younger brother to be flooded up to the roof. At President Xi Jinping's sister's five-star resort, located about 60 kilometers south of Beijing, it has also been devastated by hail. People believe that the heavens are continuing to rise and punish the regime of President Xi Jinping because he still had airplanes and warships approaching Vietnam's Hong Sau Islands, despite the warnings from the world. That is why Mother Nature continues to bring heavy rain and floods and destroy President Xi Jinping's brother's house and his sister's resort. According to China's Central Television CCTV, yesterday's weather forecast reported that while the first flood peak has not passed, China is experiencing the second flood peak, with water flow into the Three Gorges Dam increasing rapidly, reaching 53,000 cubic meters per second. It is expected that the water flow into the Three Gorges Dam could reach a peak of 59,000 cubic meters per second. Cities such as Wuhan, Sichuan, Anhui, Jiangxi, Shanghai, and other southern regions of China continue to be submerged in water. These areas are now being raised to the highest level of red alert, the highest level for floods. According to the state television station in China, as of yesterday, China has experienced the 70th consecutive day of heavy rain and strong winds, causing water levels in many rivers in China to rise, resulting in 3,850 high-rise buildings being flooded, 253 people dead and missing. Bridges, roads, hospitals, and schools are isolated. Meanwhile, the water level in Lake Baoduong, Jiangxi Province, the largest freshwater lake in China for the Yangtze River, is also higher than the 2.5-meter warning level. Some sections of the dikes around Lake Baoduong have also collapsed due to the massive floodwater, submerging surrounding houses. Lake Taihan Shanghai has also raised the red alert level after the water level rose more than 1 meter above the safe level. In the face of this situation, experts believe that this year is a year of great disasters for China. And prophets predict that from now until the end of the year, China will face many natural disasters. China has greatly impacted the global supply chain. China is considered the cause of the world's disasters, causing significant disruption to humanity. As of now, at least 2.6 million Chinese citizens have been forced to evacuate their homes, with nearly 3 million people seeking refuge in different locations. According to experts, after this historic rain and flood event, many famous regions in China will not be able to return to their original state due to the severe impact of natural disasters and the pandemic. According to a newspaper in Laos, Laos is also heavily affected by the overflow of rain and floods from China. The early season rain and floods in southern provinces of China have claimed numerous lives, with the death toll reaching 63 people. Yesterday, according to the latest statistics from a news source, 63 people have died due to rain, floods, and earthquakes, resulting in economic losses of billions of US dollars. A brief report from China's Emergency Management Department states that prolonged heavy rains in the southeast region have caused particularly severe floods. Thousands of roads and rivers are flooded, and thousands of houses have been submerged by 2 to 3 floors. Massive water volumes have caused landslides, destroyed many villages, swept away homes and roads. At least 63 people have died and gone missing. A total of 8.3 million Chinese citizens in 13 provinces and cities in the Yangtze River Basin have been affected in their lives, and nearly 1 million Chinese citizens have been isolated. The forecast for the coming days predicts further flash floods due to heavy rainfall. A concise forecast this morning from the China Meteorological Administration states that heavy rain accompanied by thunderstorms, flash floods, landslides, and hail will continue for the next few days. Rainfall recorded in Hubei and Fujian provinces over the past 2 days ranges widely from 150 millimeters to as high as 270 millimeters. Many river systems are overloaded beyond the red alert level. Several riverside hotels and restaurants in China have been swept away. Partial statistics from local news outlets indicate that millions of mainland Chinese citizens have been affected. Meanwhile, according to statistics from an international insurance broker, the flood damage caused in China in recent days could amount to $1 trillion US. This is the most severe damage that the Chinese government has had to bear. According to observers, this year's early season rain and floods in China are expected to continue and worsen. In the coming days, it may set a new record for the most devastating flood event in world history, according to data from Global Disaster Studies.
Ladies and gentlemen, if you have any contribution to the program, please leave a comment below or write us a letter. On behalf of the team, I, Phương Thảo, would like to thank you for watching. Goodbye and see you again.